Championship Sunday here in Rancho Santa Fe, and it's going to be the women's first and then the men's following with Alex Gruskin. I'm Brian Fenley. Here on our screen right now, warming up for their best of three setter is Fangran Tien on the near side of your screen, or excuse me, on the far side of your screen, taking on Megan McRae. And Alex, you've seen these two before. We're all part of the USTA SoCal Pro Circuit Summer Series here. Tien has to feel pretty good about herself considering that she just came off a singles championship in the NCAAs.
There are a lot of big storylines on the court today, and I'm very excited to get into all of them. The biggest storyline is how thrilled our Cracked Rackets team is to have you, Brian.
Get out of here.
Pleasure to have you on our broadcast here for Championship Sunday. Adds to the quality of our coverage without question. But there's no doubt the biggest storyline, men's match, women's match, it's Fangran Tien, the 19-year-old. She's coming off of the NCAA singles title, first UCLA Bruin to win since 95. Not to make you feel old, but that's one Alex Gruskin. It's been an entire Alex Gruskin since the Bruins have won a title, and so obviously to capture that puts her in history. And this is a player now who entering today, she's won 10 consecutive matches, but more impressively, Brian, 20 consecutive sets. I mean, we've both watched a lot of tennis. I don't care what level it's at. If you win 10 straight matches, that's impressive enough. If you do it all in straight set fashion, it's ridiculous. And I'm expecting more ridiculousness from the 19-year-old today.
And think about what she's done this week, Alex, already. 2 bagel sets, hasn't lost more than 3 games this week in any set, save for the second set in the tiebreaker yesterday in the semifinals. So adds on to just how dominating she has been. She has broken her opponents 20 times this week. And how about this ratio? She's broke 20 times, has been broken 5 times, and 3 of those actually came in the semifinals when she took out the 3 seed, Solimar Calling.
Yeah, look, the second set yesterday, she was down for the majority of it. It took her a while to find her rhythm on serve, and it was a credit to Calling, who took the ball extraordinarily early from the start. But the most dangerous part about facing Fangran Tien, if you give her any sort of time on the baseline, she's just going to crush you because she can find every spot on the court, cross court, down the line, short angle, forehand, backhand. When she is in rhythm, she is so tough to beat. And this SoCal Pro Series is all about providing players like Tien early in their careers opportunities to make a big jump. We got 7 weeks of events. I think the over-under is like 2.5 titles, Brian. Like, she is playing that well.
No question about it. And she's going up against Megan McRae, the 2 seed here, 839 in the world. But considering that last year she finished outside 1,000, starting to make a little bit of a climb here in 2023. 8 years older than Tien is McRae, 27 years old. Here's what they both have in common: college tennis. And McRae was at Oklahoma State, a program you know very well. And her senior year was first team All Big 12 in singles. And while she didn't go to college in SoCal, she's from Oceanside, which is about from where we are here in Rancho Santa Fe, a good 20 minutes drive up the 5. Give or take a few minutes or two, depending upon traffic, but it's still in the San Diego area.
She taking the 5 or the 101? What's the question there?
Well, if you're looking for aesthetics, if you're looking for beauty, if you're looking for better shots of the ocean, you're going to take the 101. Alex, what kind of question is that? Of course.
Well, that's what we were looking for. These are the details I need. No, look, McRae was excellent yesterday in a 3-set win over Haley Giavara, and I think she's gone 3 sets in, 3 of her 4 matches this week?
You're right.
Yeah, and so, look, she's not afraid to take the hard path. To your point, she has looked very comfortable on this surface in these conditions. It's a slow, hard court here in Rancho Santa Fe, and as such, she has a little more time to get into her big back swings. She finds the outer third so well. I mean, she gets outside the ball and actually generates angle cross court to make you uncomfortable, and that's what she did to Fangran Tien, to Haley Giavara yesterday, make her uncomfortable. Now, the issue for McRae is Giavara offered far more unforced errors throughout the course of yesterday's match than Fangran Tien will offer today. For McRae, she's going to have to generate more pace for herself. She's going to have to generate more attacking opportunities for herself. And Fangran Tien doesn't make that easy. I know McRae's the number 2 seed, That's based on sample size, in my opinion, more than level of play I've seen from these two. That said, Megan McRae will go down swinging. She made the doubles final yesterday. She made a finals in the SoCal Pro Series last year as well. I think we got a good match on our hands, Brian.
I think we do. And also with Tien, she doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes with her service, not a whole lot of double faults. You look at her tallies and how they rank as far as the stats against her opponents, and it seems as if, Alex, more often than not, her opponents are suffering more of those double faults and those self-inflicted mistakes with the serve, albeit maybe her serve isn't as dominant, as big as she wants, and that's something she'll continue to work on, but doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes and is making a good percentage of first serves as well.
Yeah, as we get ready to rock and roll, I would say that's because Tien puts pressure on you. You feel the need to have to generate more, to take some big swings. McRae will feel that pressure as well. It's going to be fun to see how she responds.
Let's get this thing started. Tien will lead us off in this opening game of the first set. And right on cue there, Alex, going with the first serve. And as far as where you think she's going to be placing a lot of these serves, going to the forehand there, where do you think for Tien it's going to serve her best with her serve and where to go with it?
That's exactly the spot. Serve to that bigger forehand backswing of McRae. The backhand's very condensed. It's easy. Case in point there. Now, again, I got lucky. It's not always going to be that easy. But McRae's backswing is just so concise on that backhand side. She takes it so early. That's where she took time away from Giovara so well yesterday. You got to mix in your spots, of course, but I'm leaning heavily serve to the forehand.
Look at that damage done down the line with a backhand. And Alex, you were talking about just how much force she can put behind her groundies. She took a rip, found an opening, and delivered beautifully.
Yeah, anytime she has on her hands, Holmgren Tien makes the most of it. Down the line, cross court. She's going to show it all. Exactly a response. On a perfect serve, too.
Yeah, and think about this. She's made 3 of 4 first serves so far. So she's dialing in there, but the angle that McRae was able to find on that forehand was pretty special, too. Well, look at that. How about an ace up the tee? Not something we envisioned, maybe? Or wait a minute. No, I think that was called out.
I think McRae was ready to concede it. No, I was
know.
Tricked too.
Yeah. I was playing off her body language.
Yeah.
Just excellent forehands there, attacking the backhand corner. And Alex, you got that short ball and very explosive, not looking to just hit the extra ball back. She's looking to take charge right away.
No, I like how aggressive she's come out here early, and that's the game plan against Tien. Can't let her dictate. It's a credit to McRae. She has come out swinging.
And she's got a break point right out of the gates here. It's the width, Alex, again. And the last 2 points were played on second serves. And just for the 6th time all week, Tien loses her service.
Yeah, and look, experience-wise, it's interesting. Fangran Tien, I believe, competing in her 3rd final of her career. Just the 2nd for McRae, despite the age disparity. So from a, I suppose, nerves perspective, you would imagine even across the board. And yet, man, did Megan McRae come out loose here to start this first set. And I mean, you see how pronounced it is. You mentioned that word width. That's a great word. She just gets outside the ball so well, and that's what you have to do. You have to get Tien stretched into that corner, that backhand corner in particular. It's game 1. Didn't move particularly well to that backhand corner. I don't think I've seen her hit that many slices this week, let alone in the course of a single game. That's interesting. Maybe McRae saw something in the pregame scouting report. That's the side to get Tien stretched to.
Yeah, that's something we're going to continue to watch. Fascinating, Alex, that I actually grew up playing on these courts here.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, I worked at the clubhouse and I was stringing rackets in that building to the right. So this is very reminiscent of nostalgia.
Did they have pro tennis for you then as well?
They didn't. They had some high school tournaments here, but they've really stepped up their game. The guy who was in charge at the time was Steve Dawson, and he's kind of made his way into the pickleball realm a little bit more so, but and I got to say too, another thing that Alex, you're seeing is some of the depth on these returns from McRae. It's taking away any Tien offensive tendencies. It seems like she's getting pushed back a little bit early on too.
Couldn't agree more. Falling back on every ground.
Yeah.
Stroke.
You just have to love the way she took control of that point and is hitting not too many safety balls, is taking some risks going up against those sidelines.
Slice isn't working. It's just giving McRae too much time. So I think that's a better miss. That's the ball that she's going to have to make today. Again, it's game 1. Fangran Tien, I think, was down, what, 4-2, maybe 4-1 in the second set yesterday. As you mentioned, hasn't dropped a set this week. Hasn't dropped a set in 2 weeks. Has only dropped 2 matches since January.
A game point missed out on with a double fault there, the first between either one of these in the early goings of this match. Could that be a little bit of nerves there trying to close things out, or?
Take a swing. It's a heat check, I would say.
How did that stick?
I think Tien thought the ball was out. I think McRae thought the ball was not coming back over. Everyone's confused. That's the early nerves.
A couple of game points thwarted here, and our first deuce game of this championship Sunday.
Yeah, love that play. I think that slice cross court isn't going to work. Slice line, and you see, I think Tien identifying it as well. Has McCrae missed a backhand? I'm not sure she has prior to that, and you know she's willing to play it inside out as well. That's just a great serve. Set up the easy +1 forehand, but I think it's that McCrae forehand wing. I think that's the side. If Holmgren Tien can play with pace, play with depth, she'll create some opportunities for herself to attack.
Takes away a break chance. That would have gotten us back on serve.
See, I'm going to guess that one was out. Yeah. That was a body language check. That's Tien saying, no, I missed it.
Do you like the aggression that she's taking in some of these cuts?
I do. That's her game. Again, we're 10 minutes in. I think that's the rip. Find the rhythm.
A sprayed forehand wide, and McCrae looks to go up 2-0 here after 2 deuces and saving a break point.
It's a good hold. It's a good start. I think with Tien spraying early, as you mentioned, McCrae had to take advantage of this quick start, as we've alluded to. 20 straight sets Holmgren Tien's won. She's now, I think, 38-2 since the start of January, including her college time. Got to get off to early leads. Can have any shot against this 19-year-old. Then she starts doing that, Brian.
And then there's really nothing you can do on the other side of the net. She was broken at 30 in her initial service game. It went to 30 all and then lost the last 2 points. Trying to get back on better footing here.
Yeah, not to be blunt, but I would argue, and we don't have the exact stat in front of us, it's probably 6, 7 unforced errors early for Holmgren Tien. I think she's going to look at the scoreboard and say, I'm only down 2-0. And then that's been mixed in too. That's not too shabby.
Yeah, I mean, early on in this game, we saw a short ball that Tien rocketed, and now a short ball from McCrae. Great depth on that return to serve, and gave her a chance to get offensive and nailed the cross court.
That's so good from Megan McCrae. She's been on top of every backhand return. Did the same thing in the doubles final yesterday, as well as in her singles victory against Giovara. I just don't think that's the spot on the ad side.
Game point surfaces after a miss on the backhand side from McCrae. What do you think made her a bit uncomfortable there with that backhand?
I just think it was the depth. It was a good swing. And McCrae backhand is just sliding through this court right now. It might be the biggest weapon in this match. She takes it so early, and you can tell just the depth she's generating. That ball is getting into Tien's body so quickly. Tien does hold to get on the board here in our final. But that's interesting. Because that ball's not going to go away, Brian. That's the Megan McRae moneymaker. That ability to capture that backhand early on the rise, use the pace you give her to absorb, redirect. It's a fun wrinkle because Fang Tian wants to be hitting inside out forehands to set up her patterns, inside out, inside out, inside in. Interesting. This is what I mean. Again, it's only 14 minutes of tennis, but I do think that McRae backhand's going to define today's outcome. If she can stay this consistent with it, absolutely can win today's match.
A couple of groundy errors there in the last couple of points, and Tian is on the board. But then, how would you say, Alex? What can she do from a returning perspective to gain some inroads on, say, one of these McRae service games?
I know it's going to sound silly. Make a return. How many returns did she miss in that first return game? Just too many freebies early.
Really had to fight to hold at 1-love. McRae back at it again at the line. Alex, we saw a little bit of everything there. We saw some topspin, we saw some slice, and ultimately we saw Tian move around McRae and test her lateral fitness there.
Yeah, pushed on her back foot. One of the first times we've seen that.
Good first serve, attacking the backhand. That is filthy good, Alex.
That's just Tian. That's what she does. Starting to get a read. And I will say one thing about McRae. She plays fast, doesn't she, Brian? It just feels like, give me the ball to the line. Let's go.
Which probably takes a whole lot of the mental hesitancy or second guessing herself. Although back-to-back service winners serving on the ad side here for McRae.
Yeah, you just have to play at her pace. Kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
It seemed in that point, Alex, that Tian had a slight edge with that heaviness that she started out the point with. Seemed as if she had that point won in a way and just let it slip away.
McRae's beating her in the backhand corner.
To get it to 3-1.
That land good? It did.
All right. My goodness.
I mean, every winner's through that ad side of the court right now. It's a credit to Megan McRae. The 27-year-old is playing loose. She's taking big cuts. She's taking everything early. She's planted on the baseline. She looks comfortable as well.
Yeah, we have not seen McRae win a point in the forecourt. Doesn't seem to be all too comfortable at the net. Perhaps more of that aggressive baseliner.
That's filthy.
It's so good.
It's
What
the
could he?
disrespect for me, though. McCray on that second serve, she is inside the baseline. Again, she is just so aggressive here early.
Go an angle cross-court pass, diffusing McCray at the net.
Yeah, you clap your racket on that one, but big picture, that's the right pattern.
It's as if she'll take some of those misses in order to stay aggressive, knowing that more often than not, I think Tien wants to just stay aggressive because she thinks maybe it'll pay off more often than not. Couple errors, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start counting from here too. She's missed what, like one backhand, maybe two. It's really impressive from McCray early. Just wide.
For the third straight game, Tien has given up 2 points on her serve, and back at it again, Alex, that ripped, crushed cross-court two-hander from McCray doing the damage.
Yeah, I hate to keep harping on it, but Holmgren Tien loves to hit the inside-out forehand because then she gets to hit forehands from the ad side of the court, inside out, inside in, wherever she wants. McCray has taken that away in the first 20 minutes. It's just not an option right now.
Two games now for Tien that she's had to deal with break chances on her serve in game 1 and now again in game 5. Deflating, to say the least, for Tien as she finds herself in a steep pull here, 4-1, dropping her delivery for the second time, and a double break lead for McCray, the native of Oceanside.
And I think the most notable part for me is how in rhythm it is for Megan McCray. She's not doing anything out of body. It really is from a matchup perspective. McCray has the right backhand today, it feels like, to take away what Holmgren Tien has wanted to do. Now, again, there have been a healthy amount of errors from Tien early, but it's because of the depth, because of, I think, how flat and how low that ball is coming in on Tien's body. How about number 2 seed Megan McCray in this start, Brian?
She's incredible. And just to think, Alex, that she had to battle quite hard in the second game. Could have easily been broken. We could have easily been back on serve. She fought through, persevered through 2 deuces, saved the 1 break chance. And yeah, we could have easily seen this opening set go a different way.
No, it's so impressive. And again, for a McCray playing in her second pro final, you mentioned it, about 20 minutes from home. You got to imagine part of this crowd you see on both sides of the court is Team McCray. It's exactly the start you're looking for, particularly after she was dropping the doubles final, yesterday.
Looking for some redemption here. How does a loss like that actually help you, say, in a singles final? That's something philosophically I'd love to pick your brain about.
Well, I just think you get the nerves out of the way, right? You get the finals nerves yesterday. Oh, my God. I mean, ridiculous from Tien to win that point, but I would point to everyone tuning in. Look how low that McRae backhand stays. It's flying through the court today. And more so than yesterday. It's notable. What can you do?
There's nothing you can do. That was so methodical and coming forward and hitting those corners. And then the swinging volley with the backhand hit with such confidence and conviction.
Use the right word, methodical. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was methodical. It was clinical. McRae did get to her forehand there, but it didn't look as if she was steady and as comfortable with that cut as she would have liked.
I think she regretted it too. Every backhand opportunity not taken is an opportunity lost. Oh, yeah.
Smacks the line. That's an ace.
And that's, again, you see as well how well she gets outside the ball on that slice serve. It's a little wristy, but it's impressive.
And she hasn't gone up the tee all that much, relatively speaking.
No, loves that second serve slice tee. Wouldn't shock me to see one here. Yeah. Here's the problem, Brian. If I knew it was coming, you imagine Feng Ran Tian knew it was coming as well.
Well, she rushed McRae with that return to serve and got McRae to have to move there, induced the mistake. So this is big. This would be a nice opportunity for Tian to eliminate a double break deficit, spawning the second break chance on McRae's serve in this opening set. Bunched up with that body serve.
That's a frustrating one. First game error, fine. Second serve, break point, 1-4. Yeah, that one's tough.
Second deuce game. Both of those deuce games have been on McRae serves. Needed 2 deuces to hold on at 1-love.
Okay, case in point. That inside out or down the line forehand Tian hit into the McRae backhand corner, that's the one that has set Tian up for everything this week and everything all year. But Megan McRae's ability to track that ball down, the depth, the angle she generated, she took Tian's advantage away. And that's been this match. That ball right there.
That's a ball regrettably struck long from McRae, who was backed up near the fence there with the loopiness from Tian.
Yeah. It's really good out of the corners. Both of these players.
Off target with that forehand, trying to take that down the line, and 0 for 2 on breakpoint conversions is Tian, as number 3 is in plain sight. chances have been there, Alex. It's just closing the job and getting it done ultimately has been a challenge here in trying to win a game on the return for Tien.
That's much better. And I think that's the play. I like that. For the first time, you see Tien really putting some air under the ball, right? Elevation, depth, just a different sort of speed at that Megan McRae backhand. Drive's not working.
Now, this quantifies as the longest game of this match so far into a fourth deuce.
So good. Inside out backhand. Who hits that? This is case in point. Everyone else is taking that as a forehand, not Megan McRae. Not everyone else. Medvedev would do that.
And Tien was left trying to play defense on her forehand side, trying to slice the forehand. At what point, as we take ourselves to a game point, does Tien feel a level of frustration at the chances that she's had, but just hasn't been able to see through?
Right now, 100%.
Just miss, cross court, short angle.
But the boldness to go for that angle, it speaks to, again, McRae's playing loose. All you can ask for is a player to play their best in a final. And I think it's fair to say McRae has to start.
Is it just me, or does it seem like more and more serves as this game is going on are going more so up the tee?
Yeah, no, I'm waiting for Tien to make a similar adjustment. I agree. McRae's found her spot. Just yanked wide.
Out it goes. 5-1, surviving the gauntlet of a 6-deuce game. And McRae is a game away from the first set finish line.
20 straight sets for Holmgren Tien. 20 straight coming into today's match between the NCAA singles title 2 weeks ago, or excuse me, a week ago. Now this week's run as well. I mean, what's the flip side is you convert 2 of your break chances. It's 3-all, not 5-1. And again, there have been a lot of errors for Holmgren Tien. And she can make a case to herself she should be in this set. That she hasn't already been bageled is honestly pretty impressive.
And she's bageled twice her opponents this week.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened to her.
Oh my God. I think I landed good.
You pointed that out. It's that inside out backhand.
I'm hitting again, slice isn't her play. She loves to hit that kick serve, but I think she's got to start going slice T here on the ad. Slice wide on the deuce, maybe body serves as well. Just nothing to that backhand. You've seen what's happened. But it's so antithetical to what she wants to do, because she wants to be playing kick serve wide. Again, wants to hit ad side forehands from that left side of the court. She's just so good at opening up angle inside out. yanking you so far wide that the inside-in forehand's just the easy play. McCray just isn't allowing that today.
Oh, rarely are we seeing a trip to the net. This one foiled by a miss with the backhand volley with the point in her grasp. Instead of it being 15-30, 3 set points for McCray on this Tien service.
I mean, it's a flawless set, Brian. That is a flawless set.
It was. And then it was interesting. We hadn't seen that tactic, but right there on that last point, Tien goes serve and volley.
Yeah, that's you know what? Like Taylor Swift, shake it off. This set is done. Throw it in the books. Never again. I mean, again, the story coming into this match was Fangran Tien. There's no doubt about it. I would be the first to say, as a salesman of college tennis, I'm trying to sell that story as much as anyone. The story coming out of set one is, I don't know if it's top 100 tennis, but I'm winning this 15K this week level tennis for Megan McCray, Brian. Did she make, I mean, one loose service game for Fangran, or for return game, excuse me, for McCray. Tien's able to hold that third game of the match. Everything else was on McCray's terms. She made maybe 2 backhand unforced errors. She's going for the heat check short angle forehand approach, which is Sports Center highlight reel stuff. As you see both players leave the courts, Brian, I mean, I don't know. What's the adjustment for Fangran Tien? Because something has to change, right?
Something does have to change. And I was so impressed with just, I guess, developing a sense of dominion over your opponent right away. There was no feeling out the opponent. And look, they've never, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but these two have never faced off against each other. And it was, no, we're not settling into this match. It's McCray taking the initiative right away with her return game, breaking Tien at 30, and Tien got a few early first serves in and then could not finish off the hold. And then, like you pointed out, there was that critical early game as well when McCray was serving where she had a break chance. How different this opening set could have gone if she doesn't save that break chance, which would have put Tien back on serve. And then ultimately Tien, who had been broken just 5 times all week, has been broken 3 times in the opening set of this Sunday final, which is more than half that she's done all week, which just, it's so out of character for her at this stage.
No, you used a word early in describing McCray, methodical. I think to your point, she was so assertive as well. Just from the start of the match, backhand returns are being taken inside the baseline. Every backhand's being taken a little bit early. Again, her ability to take away ad side forehands. Has Fangran Tien hit a single forehand from an offensive position? Few and far between, if so. And yeah, it's just, this match has so definitively been on Megan McCray's terms. And I just haven't seen someone do this to Fangran Tien. Again, Tien goes 34-2 in her freshman year from January through the end of May at UCLA this past season. She blitzes through, to your point, 2 bagel sets, didn't drop a set on her way to this final. She just offered us a breadstick. Like, I don't think 11:46 a.m. is too early for carbs. Maybe it is on the West Coast because I know you guys do your own thing. That sounds like a perfect football meal for us here in the Midwest. I think the thing I'm most excited to see, and this sounds very silly, how does Tien respond? Because it has been at least a year probably since someone has done this to her in a set of tennis. And whether it's the high and heavy we saw there at the end of the first set, maybe she does just go shameless on us, and it's just, I am hitting everything to the deuce side of the court. Do what you will with that, Megan McRae. But I want to say, I think it's got to be a dramatic adjustment, right? Because marginal's not going to be good enough. That was a lopsided set number one.
Well, this brings up an interesting point, Alex, and it's obviously adjustments need to be had for Tien, but at what point does you making adjustments, if you're Tien, force you out of your own character and something you're not comfortable with? So it's like, where do you find that middle ground? It's like, okay, I need to change. I need to do something different. But personally, I'm not so comfortable with that, although I know that's probably best for me in order to get back into this match. So it's like, how do you deal with that? There's this, I guess, this desire to want to go that way, but also it could take away from your typical or prototypical game style.
That's the question. Couldn't agree with you more. That is the question coming into set two. Because we know how that point ends.
Yes.
We've seen that one.
A very consistent pattern of play. A three-shot rally with a backhand cross-court finisher out wide with the first serve on the deuce side. It's time and time again, and it's working. It's the one thing you can do. Can you hit it deep every time to McRae's backhand? You might induce some mistakes off that end of her game.
Well, the big thing, what I've noticed, is 3 points. The backhand slice is gone. No more of that. And I honestly think a backhand error at this point, swinging through it, is more productive than that slice, because we've seen how the slice plays out. When McRae gets a little time, she's just on top of Tien. I'd rather miss that ball at this point than just offer it up on a platter.
And then it's, do you play heavy balls with depth so that you take it out of her strike zone if you're Tien and you feel like you don't have any other choice but to go to McRae's backhand?
Yeah, I like to, sorry, that she's throwing different looks here in this opening game. That's been the most notable thing, is we're getting slice, high and heavy, and drive.
Has to find that first serve too. Not a whole lot of first serves are going in right now, and Tien looking to break right away after she was broken right away in the opening set. And the first double fault salts the first break of serve for Tien, takes advantage of some of those mistakes. And how about this for a start in the second set after how disappointing the opener went for Tien?
Well, it's going to be fascinating. Fangran Tien gets to do something she hasn't gotten to do in over a month. She gets to chase on the scoreboard a little bit. And it will be fascinating to see now, if you're Megan McRae, I mean, you're not going to find a better 30-minute start than what we saw today from McRae. How do you sustain that level? Now it becomes a different level of nerves, right? It's one thing to start out a final match. Now you're a set away from your first title. That was a loose, well, it was a better game from Tien, but definitely a looser game than we've seen thus far from McRae. And now it's Fangran Tien's turn. You're up 1-love on the scoreboard. What can you do with it?
Yeah, and this is, as we pointed out earlier, this is an exciting 7-week summer USTA Pro Circuit series. You've got the event next week, University of San Diego, and we'll continue on into LA, San Diego at the Barnes Tennis Center. So a lot of opportunities for these up-and-coming stars.
Not too shabby, but it was wide. That was wide.
It looked like it graced at least part of that line.
That was definitely long.
So we had in the second game of this second set our first love holds, and Tien is up 2 games to love. She was broken at love in game 7 and then holds at love early second set.
Yes. Welcome to the ball game, Fangran Tien. Took her an hour, but that's exactly it, Brian. Just the way she threw in high and heavy, the way she didn't play drive into that backhand. She said, Megan McRae, generate your own pace. I love that adjustment if you can't tell.
I sense your excitement.
Yeah, it's
your
just,
exuberance.
It's nice to see a tennis mind at work. Yes. That's an adjustment. That's a brand new tactic. It's a brand new match dynamic, Brian.
It is. And we have also seen that forehand come up with more errors for McRae than she would have liked in the second set. Backhand error there. And a double break advantage here for Tien, who has totally reversed course after the disappointment that she faced with the, as you like to call it, losing by way of the breadstick. 6-1.
Well, I think the case to make, if you're Tien, and it's not a hard case to make. Yes, it's a lopsided first set scoreline, but McRae did offer some forehand errors in that first set as well. And you had a couple of deuce games where Tien was right there, a backhand return in the net here, a brilliant McRae down the line redirect there. Again, what's so impressive through these first 3 games of this second set is that Fangran Tien went to something new. She said, you know what? I'm scrapping this game plan because, you asked the question at the start of the second set, how much does she change her game plan versus stick to being herself?
Yes.
That diverse skill set is Fangran Tien. She is someone who can find multiple different ways to get to that forehand that she can hit so aggressively. We're starting to see those different pathways here in this second set. And again, that's why before I was a commentator, I was a fan of tennis. That's why you sense the excitement in my voice, is because we have an adjustment now to start the second set. And now it's on McRae. How does she respond?
And we're about to see if she can get back in the second set, returning on the near side. Taking a really aggressive stance with her return position there, try to unload with the forehand. What'd you think about that decision on the second serve return?
Love it. You're down 3 love, take a rip, get the rhythm back. That's what worked in set 1. And that is just a great serve.
Mixes things up with the body serve.
And I'm glad you said it like that. Mixes things up. The body serve is the most underutilized or underrated shot in all of tennis. And I think that's what we need to see more of as well. It's very basic, but it just jams you. And now as the server, you are guaranteed a +1 look. Fangran Tien has not had many +1 looks in this match so far.
Two backhands from McRae, one of them in progress towards the net, and just had it all set up for her, Alex, and could not convert. One-way traffic in the first set, and that would be the case in the second set, except it's going the other way. Tien in charge for love.
We'll go full circle here. They wanted the views. They took the 101. A lot of traffic.
Yes.
In this match.
Great broken back-to-back service games here.
Can I indulge you with a rant?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Our age group, my age group, they term us as millennials. We'll fight that fight another day. We get branded as having short attention spans. And again, we'll fight that fight another day. But I'll say this, for those with those short attention spans, 51 minutes, we're almost done with 2 sets. Megan McRae is foot to the gas pedal, and I respect it. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It is no nonsense. And what I might ask is, hey, why not slow things down? The rant had a purpose, I promise. That was the full circle. Is if I'm Megan McRae now, maybe that's my move. Is Fangran Tien has slowed things down, so maybe it's, oh, okay, I can do that too. And I do start to wonder, what's the McRae adjustment, because she's just playing so fast and
No.
things can get away quickly.
What about the speed in which she's getting ready for the next point?
Yeah, I think it's as simple as that as well. Just take a breath. Take a moment. She didn't even leave the line there. It's right back at it.
It was a double fault that ended for Tien the first set, 6-1 in McRae's favor. Trying to redirect there, Alex. It looked like a little bit.
Yeah, you can see the face and just the body language. That high and heavy ball, McRae has no patience for it.
McRae trying to stop a stretch of 4 straight games lost. Her first game point of the second set.
That's the ball she was missing in set 1.
Yeah. And what damage it does, just sitting on it and clocking it down the line.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Did that smack the line? Just yanked wide?
I don't know. She plays so quick, it's tough to tell.
I know.
No, it smacked.
Smacked.
Yeah, that it's really well done. You can tell Megan McRae, again, so much better at absorbing pace, redirecting pace than she is at generating her own. And it took Fangran Tien about 35 minutes to recognize that fact, but she clearly has now. Case in point.
Yeah, a term that you've used a lot, high and heavy. How much has that, in terms of diminishing McRae's chances at getting offensive? Time and time again, we're seeing that. And in trouble again with their service. Only to win a short-lived point with an overstruck forehand. Multiple deuces here.
It's also worth noting, when's the last time McRae made a first serve? I mean, the first serve percentage has been tough here in set 2. Yeah,
just wide. So we go to another break chance. First 3 break points were saved by McRae in the opening set. Next 2, she could not hold on to. She has saved one in this game, but has another one to deal with.
There's just no connective tissue between points. It's just swing after swing right now for Megan McRae as Fangran Tien will serve for a second set bagel. here in our women's singles final. I would mention, as we mentioned earlier, just to reiterate, what a pleasure it is to have this USTA SoCal Pro Series after years where, look, there just weren't a ton of pro opportunities for players trying to make a push up the rankings here in the United States. Now, you got to give a massive shout out to our friend Chris Boyer, the entire USTA team, all the sponsors you see on the top right of our screen for their support of this series back in its second year. Last year was 6 weeks. I believe this year we've got 7. And you're going to see players like Fangran Tien, again, fresh off an NCAA singles title. Megan McRae still working her way up the rankings, taking advantage of having pro opportunities right in her hometown. Obviously, later, guys like Colin Sinclair, Jamie Floyd Angele, young guys we saw win the doubles, and Jack Anthrop, Bryce Nakashima, a couple of teenagers. To have these playing opportunities so close to home, just gives them that opportunity to use this as a springboard, a catalyst moving forward. And so, yeah, I mean, Brian, it's going to be not only has this final already had all the twists and turns you'd expect from a full 7-week series. We got it all in one match, but it's only going to get better from here.
It is. And McRae won, as we talk about this series this summer. She won the event at Barnes Tennis Center last summer. And so trying to win another one on this SoCal Pro Series circuit. But you mentioned how foreshadowing this series can be. We'll get to that in a minute.
That's first set, McRae.
That is no holding back with the backhand. But
yeah.
But there's think about guys like Ethan Quinn. He's won at this level, and look at the success he's been having recently. There's no gentleness in those returns from McRae, but Tien, what do you think about this dynamic, Alex? The longer the point goes, the more it favors Tien. Are you seeing that, or is it still up for grabs as far as the length of points?
Great question. I think it's less about the length. And again, what's the first strike? What's the first shot? Is Megan McRae inside the baseline? If she's inside the baseline, she's hitting that backhand early. She's capturing it on the rise. Again, it's such a credit to Fangran Tien, and this is one of those matches where the adjustment is just so clear. That high, heavy topspin ball has just bought Tien time, has pushed McRae back. So I would say it's more about court positioning than anything else, and it's a credit to Fangran Tien for the first time. Well, I say the first time because these sets have gone so quickly. This whole second set, she's changed the battle of court positioning.
The second set that's lasted under 30 minutes, speeding by.
And the Tad scoring. This isn't college. Let the record show. Yeah, that ball is sailing on her.
That's point
Tien. Let's go.
Yeah, set point Tien, a point away from her third bagel set of this tournament this week.
And honestly, saying 21 consecutive sets, that's too nonchalant. winning 21 of 22 sets. Now that sounds impressive. You're like, ooh, and you got tested.
Yes. Was that good?
No, body language says that one missed. I'm feeling pretty confident about this prediction. I think that missed.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we head to a deuce, and now the plot thickens a little bit. Another set point and a chance to break McRae for the third time in this second set.
The first time we've seen a visibly frustrated McRae. Backhand has started to sail on her. That dropped good. That's really well done.
Another deuce. Our longest game was a 6-deuce game at 4-1, McRae serving in the opening set.
And that's back to the Megan McRae pattern where, again, she's inside that baseline. She's the one redirecting the ball, deciding what direction we're going to be playing. Most impressively, she never hits the ball in the same direction more than twice in a row. It's always 2 cross, 1 line. Very efficient. She looks to get on the board here in set 2. Oh, that's great depth.
That she's willing to take those chances, McRae, even if she misses. Those backhands, though, when they are connected on, they're so hard to return. Another chance to make it a 1-set apiece final. And not to happen as of yet. That backhand clobbers another return ace. We see that on repeat. Ad side, down the line, 2-hander, taken on the rise.
This feels like the one.
Well, McRae was broken through deuce in the last game. She's trying to return the favor, but Tien has the edge.
There it is.
And there it is. How did you know?
It was a body language. You could tell. That one felt a little different. There was a little spring in that Fangran Tien step as she approached the service line, and she does force a deciding set in our women's singles final, of course. We got a fun one coming up after this. It's going to be a good men's singles final as well. You get Jamie Floyd Angele, who made 6'7" Keegan Smith look small. I don't know if you've seen that photo of Victor Wembanyama, the
Yes.
#1 overall pick, standing next to now Minnesota center Rudy Gobert. Gobert's like 7'2". Wembanyama will say 7'6". That might be selling it short. You know, he makes Gobert look small. It was amazing to see Jamie Floyd Angele, all 6'9" of him, make Keegan Smith look short, because I've been next to Keegan Smith in person, and not to, it's fun fact. I think the thing I hear most is, "Oh, you're taller than I expected," because the voice does not convey my 6'2" frame, Brian. We're getting into my insecurities here now. But again, I've stood next to Keegan Smith, and that is a massive man. And literally, he's standing next to Jamie Floyd Angele, and you're just like, oh my God. Like, how are you short in this matchup? And so anytime you get a guy as big as Angele who moves as well as he does, he's taking on a guy in Colin Sinclair, so well rounded. What's exciting you about our men's singles final?
Well, I was going to ask you this. Who inside the top 50 or say inside the top 100 as far as a game reminds you most of the way Angele plays?
It's a great question. Well, he's more aggressive than Isner, which is the easy comparison people would want to make. I would say Kevin Anderson is more the model because he can move, but he does want to get forward, get to that net. I mean, he is a big man. That serve is the foundation of his success. I would say he's in more that style of big man than the Cilic, Medvedev tall, but like to grind a little bit more from the baseline. That's not him. That said, he does move really well for a guy that size and still 23. Again, I think he's another guy who could win multiple titles here at the SoCal Pro Series this year.
Gray's looking to win multiple titles at the SoCal Pro Series, going back to she won last year at this circuit, trying to do it again, starting the third set.
Tone setter.
There was so much more that McRae could have done damage-wise in the forecourt, but she allowed Tien to stay in that point.
Yeah, I love the aggression there. I won't lie. She's come out swinging once again. That's the best point we've seen, I would say, of the match, where both are doing what they want to be doing. Yeah, now we've got ourselves some rhythm. Now we've got ourselves a match.
Inside out, explosive put away in the court for McRae.
Yeah. I actually think that's a good miss for Tien. She knows the thing she's in danger of here is getting a little hot, trying to play a little fast. If you're Fangran Tien, playing fast is not what got you back into this match. It was the fact that she did slow things down, started throwing in the high and heavy. Now, a couple of slices float on her. But again, I think those are acceptable misses early for the 19-year-old. Yeah, she missed the return.
Just missed that return. So for the first time since 4-1 in the opening set, McRae wins a game. Broken right out of the gates. Yeah, in set 2, Alex, and was broken at 30. And it had that early double fault, remember, in the beginning of the second set. So a totally different state of mind, it seems, from her here in the decider so far.
Yeah, it was far better rhythm. I mean, again, you saw her swinging inside that baseline on every point in that opening service game, and more than anything, it just calms things down, levels things now for McRae entering this third.
Stops a string of 6 consecutive games won by Tien. As she takes the line.
That second set, Fangran Tien. I like it. We get an injection of both rhythms. You want to know what the first set looked like? It was the opening service game of McRae. You want to know what the second set looked like? It was that point from Tien. There's your summary. That's how we got here. You know, you pay more for the frame. That's just Tien getting her money's worth on that shot.
Couple of errors on that backhand side for McRae. Chance for her second love hold of this match for Tien after McRae sent a forehand return long. Errors upon errors for McRae in that game. And 4 points played, all won by the server Tien. Levels this deciding set at 1-all. An hour and 14 minutes in. So good. Short angle, a nasty backhand. And the server in this third set has won 10 of 11 points, including the last 6 points won on the serve, dating back to game 2 of this third set. Taking a mean and strong cut with the forehand. Tien watches herself give up the game. It's on serve in this deciding set as McRae holds at love, returning the favor after Tien did it at love 1 here in the decider. 2-1 is our tally in favor of McRae, the 2 seed. Trying to stop Alex this run from Tien, but if we and you described so vividly and well the differences that we've seen from a storyline standpoint in sets 1 and 2. But here in the deciding set, the server has won 12 of 13 points. So returning hasn't been great on either side so far in this decider.
Well, I think more than anything as commentators, I know we're not supposed to root for anything, but we root for good tennis, if you're wondering what we're rooting for at home. And I think what we're hoping for, I'm going to speak for you if you'll allow me.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'll remind you later you said that. But in this instance, it will be worthwhile. We just want to see these two play their best tennis at the same time. We haven't seen that yet in this match, if we're going to be honest with you, the viewer. And I think it's safe to say 12 out of 13 points. We've seen that so far in this deciding set, and it's definitely a good thing for this final. You see the adjustment? Not you, Brian, but people at home. What is Megan McRae doing differently? Fang Rantian's thrown that high and heavy ball. She's not taking it on the rise. She said, okay, I'll slow down. It's the first time we've seen her do that all match. Now, it didn't play to her benefit, but it's worth noting.
It's tempting. Miss. Yeah, it's tempting to go run around there. But there just seems to be a little extra level of comfort on the backhand side. So I'm wondering why McRae would do that to herself.
I love the aggression. That's a very fair point. Why not play that as a backhand? That's the right question. Remember earlier when I was complaining about Fangran's movement into the corners? That's gone. Complaint over. I'd like to, you know how you file the complaint? What do you unfile it? I'd like to unfile that one. You can move it in the trash.
1 point from a third straight love hold in this set.
Surprised her. I don't know. I find that reaction funny. That was a good forehand. She was ready to rip. That's the Fang Rantian we saw in Orlando. That forehand can be so explosive when she's in rhythm. And to Brian's point, we have rhythm. 16 of 17 points to the server to start our third set.
And think about that. And you pointed out that great stat, Alex. McRae hasn't won a single point on the return in this deciding set. You know you're going to have to want to win this title. So, and yeah, it's been you mentioned rhythm, serving rhythm, but it's got to come down to how she can return. And right now, not to her level of satisfaction.
Yeah, so she gets away with that there. But I actually think the adjustment that I glean from these first 4 games is that playing at Tien's pace isn't going to work for McCrae. Yes, she won that point, but she's got to be willing to make some errors. And the second set was the extreme in the wrong way, but the first set shows you how right that pattern can be.
Is that a miss down the line?
Yeah, I think that one sailed on her. Yeah.
Sailed on her. McCrae clipped the baseline on one of those shots in that rally. Has held at 15 and at love.
Yeah, defensive tennis is not going to win this set for Megan McCrae. Ooh, maybe it is.
The width that she used on the backhand shut down Tien coming forward.
Yeah. I don't care if she knows it's coming, and I'm sorry for beating this drum repeatedly. Every approach is to the forehand. If she passes me, so be it. 20 of 21 points to the server.
That's unbelievable. Every single one of these sets, and I know it sounds very cliche, Alex, but has taken a life of its own. There's not a whole lot of similarities in a sense. Yeah, there could be from time to time, but there's so much difference as far as contrasting styles and the game story that's playing out and how unique each one of these sets is.
No, we have 6'9" Jamie Floyd Angele coming up next in our men's singles final. I hope he's taking notes. Like 21 of 21 points. That's the standard we expect from the big man now. But absolutely, like it is fun to finally see each of these players, dare I say, having to adjust to one another's best tennis, not having to adjust from their own errors, self-inflicted wounds, dare I say. And yeah, 3-2, not a ton of separation between these two thus far. You have a lean one way or another, a playing style you think has an advantage here in the third, Brian?
Oh, here's the other trend that I'm noticing. We had 3 service breaks in the opener, 3 in the second, and we're going to play our 6th game of this decider, and it has been one hold after another.
Yeah.
So think about that storyline as well, but I would love to see the aggression. And again, like you said, we're not rooting for one individual player. We're just saying as far as what we think will suit each player's game styles for them to win. But how well can McCrae hit that high and heavy? And can she do it and turn defense into offense at all?
Oh.
Yeah, that was long. A let cord in there. And how about the way, Alex, break it down for me, how well McCrae, both of these opponents, but how well McCrae can hit the forehand on the run?
Well, like I said, defense is going to win her this match. And as you see there, the pass, just exceptional. Like I said, defense is going to win her this match. I mean, unbelievable. But it shows you how hard you've had to work as a returner to win a point in this third set. I think if you're Fangran Tien, you come off of those 2 points feeling pretty good. Like, you played 2 great points. McRae just came up with answers.
And these are the first 2 points that McRae has won on the return in this deciding set.
Now you take a deep breath. I would be shocked if we see anything other than a body slice forehand side serve. Yeah, went into that body to set up that forehand pattern, and we've just seen such little of that, but that's Fangran Tien at her best. That's the shot that will have her playing pro tennis a decade from now.
The thing, Alex, is that I believe Tien has been able to do well in pace generation after you hit sort of a defensive shot for McRae, and you can either throw another high and heavy, or you can turn up the velocity and really rip it. Keeps you on your toes a little bit.
It's a complete skill set for Fangran Tien. Completely agree. Had to work for that one.
Yeah, no doubt. And a forehand miss. And from love 30, 4 straight points won by Tien to keep the streak alive of 6 straight holds in this decider.
This is the game. If you're Megan McRae, you had a love 30 look. Cannot afford the letdown. Sustained aggression from point 1. It's been from the start in this match. Just like that.
Finding those corners. And how gratifying does that have to feel, Alex, to get that forehand in the court and have all that open space to hit into and just hit it right through your opponent?
Yeah, especially after that love 30.
Come on. So good, Megan. So good. Way to go.
Takes that backhand long. Tien hasn't won a return point since love all. What's the indication on that? That was close.
The scoreboard's also unsure.
Yeah, I know. They haven't updated it, but I'm assuming that it's a love hold, and yes,
There
it
it
is. Another love hold. We've had 5 of those in this third set. And we're on serve in this third.
Veteran's guile. I love the continued aggression. Yes, the errors piled up in set number 2, but Megan McRae has not gone away here in the third. She's stuck to what got her here, and now she's 2 games away from that first title. Again, 3-set loss to McKenna Jones last year. I think I called that match. I don't think. I know I did. And, you know, it was so interesting because it was a similar dynamic. Jones so physical. She threw up so many high and heavies and just, again, forced McRae to have to hit through that finish line. Clearly, that's what Tien's trying to do here as well. I think we've seen a little bit of an adjustment from Megan McRae on that return of serve. For Fangran Tien, what's her adjustment here? She's won, what, 2 points as a returner here in the third? Something like that?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Alex, I think it's 1, and it was at Love All when McRae held at 15.
Yeah. And so, again, you can't let that seep into this service game. That's my biggest point, is stay the course.
And the other interesting thing is, and we look at the first serve percentages here, Tien, 77% of her first serves are going into just 53% from McRae. Frequent sighting of the backhand slice, a play that has been kept hidden away for Tien for the most part here. Haven't seen that from her that often. Did that one smack the line? So now here, things are going to get really interesting. A couple of break points
against the deciding set.
Yeah, against this Tien service. Five return points already won by McRae combined over the last 2 Tien service games.
A loose game from Tien.
Very uncharacteristic of her.
Yeah, it's the first one she's played since the first set. Credit to the sustained aggression of Megan McRae. Has not backed down once in this match. She will now serve for the first title.
In their first all-time meeting.
Gut check alert.
It is. 4th time that Tien has been broken, and of course first since the opening set.
That is some way to respond. God, that's maybe the third aggressive forehand she's even had the chance to hit today. That's her game. We just have not seen that cross-court ball. Oh,
Fortuitous
luck never hurts.
Yeah, a little fortuitous bounce here, and 2 straight points won by Tien on the return. Does she have it in her to fight back and get back on serve? Not if a T-serve ace on the deuce side has anything to say about it.
Flatten that one out as well. It looked like it was going to be a slice. She caught Tien leaning.
4th ace for McCray. Does have 4 doubles. Had a hard time lifting that forehand cross court after the backhand slice from Tien, and McCray in danger of losing this chance at serving it out, which she does. Alex, back-to-back loose games here.
Well, I will say this. That return game is the first time all match Fangran Tien has looked like herself. And what I mean by that is she finally hit some forehands off her front foot. She finally took some aggressive cuts on the ball. And yes, she won that second set 6-love. She didn't do it playing Fangran Tien tennis. She did it with the high and heavy, with the change of pace, the slowing things down. That's not Tien at her best. Tien's at her best when she's hitting that forehand assertively. She finally did so in that game. And you know, again, now the pressure goes back on her as she's got to serve to stay alive, but that's the pace. That's the Fangran Tien I've been waiting to see all day today. It was a loose game, no doubt, from McCray, a tentative game, her first of the match. At the same time, credit to Tien. She finally, something, you could just tell from the body language, she was way more proactive with her feet.
If we do go to a tiebreaker, it would be the first one that McCray has played all week. And as mentioned, a tiebreaker was played that second set for Tien in the semifinal, and she won that convincingly. Still have a ways to go here as they trade service breaks after 7 holds out of the gates in this deciding set. 4 breaks of serve on either side, and on serve here into our 10th game of the third set.
Come on, Megan. So good. Come on.
Usually so accurate with those defensive shots, just pushing back McCray, but Tien lost control.
Oh, sailed that forehand as well.
Taking that forehand out of the air, running forward. Misses her first forehand. And McCray lurking here with the first 2 points.
Gutsy. Very, very gutsy.
That's got to feel good after missing one earlier in the forecourt in this game. Seemed much more comfortable. It was able to set her feet and just plop that volley past McCray.
Those were her best 2 first serves of the match consecutively. What a point.
Such an adventurous point. It looked as if Tien was going to win the point of the forecourt. She gets backed up. I have to say, Alex, that McCray got away with a pretty easy return of serve. She's giving it and sending it right back to Tien's forehand and allowing Tien to sort of, I don't know if take control of the point, but at least have an edge. Might want to move that return a little bit away from the forehand if she can. But yeah, this is big. It's another break chance.
And it's match points for McCray.
Oh, she double faulted the first set away. Avoids doing that here in the decider. Sticks that backhand cross court. Saves a match point. Does she have another one in her to save? Kicking off the USTA SoCal Pro Series in style. A championship for the American Megan McCray in 3 sets as she takes down Tien in 1 hour and 45 minutes.
So impressive from the 27-year-old. Again, first pro title of her career. You could see what it meant to her. It was nervous down the finish line for both of these players, and McCray just so good out of that backhand corner from the start of this match. Her ability to absorb, redirect everything Fang Tien threw at her. What an extraordinary day for McCray, again, to win your first pro singles title, 27 years old. This is exactly what this SoCal Pro Series is about, providing these sorts of opportunities to players like McCray, who I believe with this win, double-checking here in the live rankings, but I got to imagine she'll be at a new career high. And, I mean, yeah, again, with this win, let's see, up to now number, do the math real quick, 762 in the live rankings. That right around her career high, 15 off it. But guess what? We got 6 weeks to go, and she gets a win week 1, Brian.
What a great start for her, and what a great finish to that deciding set for her, breaking Tien in back-to-back service games after there were 7 straight holds in the decider. where it was so hard to score a point on the return, and how that totally changed, and how the return was winning more points than the serve down the stretch of this deciding set. And Megan McRae, the 2 seed, has to feel really good about herself going into next week and what she's capable of throughout the course of this pro circuit series that is just getting started here in Southern California.
No, won't have to play qualifying at any of the events now that she has these winning points. And yeah, again, gets to just use this as the building block moving forward. Now, as will Fangran Tien, who, let's be clear, has still won 21 of her last 23 sets, 10-1 in her last 11 matches, 38-3 since the start of January. Tien will be just fine, and she gets her feet wet again in this SoCal Pro Series, still has 6 more events to play through as well. She was not at her best today, there's no doubt about that, but why wasn't Fangran Tien at her best? Because, to your point, Megan McRae was awesome. I mean, that first set she played, that's top 400, 300 level tennis, just the aggression, the ability to absorb, redirect pace so fluidly. The best part is this is just match 1 of 2 on the day. We still got another fun final to come, don't we, Brian?
Oh, we sure do. And just quickly going back to that opening set between Tien and McRae, how gutsy and how clutch she saved 3 break points in that opening set, and how that turned the page in her favor, although had to play from what was a bagel set in the second set to coming in towards the end of the decider and pulling through very nicely. But yes, we do have the championship final on the men's side. Jamie Floyd Angele and Colin Sinclair. I can't wait to get your thoughts on that match, Alex.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun one. I mean, again, it's a fun contrast as well. Sinclair, he's just good at everything. You're not going to see a discernible weakness. Meanwhile, yes, it's wrong to typecast, but when a player's 6'9", you know what you're getting. Bombs from Jamie Floyd Angele, and so it'll be a fun contrast of styles that, yeah, we're going to be excited to bring to all of you Crack Rackets fans. And something else we're very excited to have is Brian with us for the journey of this USTA SoCal Pro Series. How'd we do match 1?
I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
being able to play off of you. I think this is really fun getting to play off of you, and this certainly was a blast. Thank you all for the opportunity to be with you all. Love what you guys are doing and are doing for the sport. It's just incredible what you guys are building.
Well, it's very kind for you to say. What I will do here is allow you to take a break, catch your breath. As again, I always appreciate you taking, you joining us, and we're very excited to have you. As you see, scoreboard is now set. We'll get things changed here on your screen. Men's singles final coming up, I got to imagine, in the next 10, 15 minutes here. And, of course, we'll keep this on your screen so that you can watch all the photos, the trophy ceremony as it unfolds. Of course, you'll be able to see the opening stages of warm-ups when the players walk on court as well. And as soon as they walk on court, we'll resume our commentary. We're going to step away for now. But, again, such a pleasure to have Brian Fenley with us here on our broadcast. For him, our super producer Daniel Westoff, CEO Dalton Thieneman, and everyone who contributes to our broadcast. I'm Alex Gruskin. You're watching our Crack Rackets coverage of the 2023 USTA SoCal Pro Series. We'll be back with the men's singles final in about 15 minutes.
Okay, guys, we're going to get started with our trophy presentation. But first, just want to thank you all for coming out for our women's final and our men's final later today. But a big thank you to our staff here. Brigitte Bradshaw here. You see her all week. Stacey Pennington on our tennis board. Derek Miller. Staff. And just our whole staff and our volunteers. Greg Sadowski wearing that. Greg, he's one of our main volunteers on the week, ball kids, officials, and just a big thank you to you guys also just for supporting the tournament all week. All right, you ready? Also, one big thank you to Bruce Klieg here, who's part of putting the whole SoCal Pro Series together. Bruce.
Well, I think this is one of the favorite tournaments of all these players. I've talked to a lot of them, and it's so nice for them at this level to have spectators come out and root for them. And so I really thank everybody for coming out and supporting them and the tournament itself. One of the best things about this tournament, I think, is the hospitality that so many of you have provided to some of the players here. And that means a lot for them. They're on the road all the time, and for them to have a little taste of home goes a long ways. And so thank you all for stepping up and housing some of the players and the hospitality and everything that goes along with that. So thank you very much. And this couldn't happen without all of the volunteers. John mentioned them all. John's a huge part here, as is Terry and Rita and everybody else. So thanks for showing up.
Okay. We'll start with our singles finalists, Tien Fangri. And handing it out, handing the trophy out, and our future champion. Jen, do you want to say anything about your great week here at Rancho Santa Fe?
This is a great tournament. Just being here, I met so many people who like putting to all everyone who organized this tournament. I want to thank you guys and thank you for Jack for hosting us, and then thanks for my teammate who wasn't there and Sophie. It's just it's been a long year for me coming to America, but I really enjoyed the time here because everyone here is so nice and always supporting. I love my school. Go Bruins.
Rancho Santa Fe Pro, big finalist and NCAA champion, as Derek said earlier. All right, our champion, Megan McRae. Let's give her a big hand. Semi-finalist here last year, right? Quarterfinalist. And we here at March. Finalist. Okay.
Oh gosh, I have a lot of stuff. Okay, first of all, congrats Tien for an amazing tournament and amazing wins lately. So congrats on that. And I want to thank everyone for the support and cheering me on throughout this whole tournament. It's amazing playing at home, winning here at home. So and also thank you to the ball kids. You're amazing. All the volunteers and you put this tournament on. It's so awesome to have ITF tournaments locally where I don't have to travel or anything. So thank you for that. And yes, go Oceanside.
So there's 8 tournaments in this series. Megan and T are going to be first and second place going to these 8 tournaments. Whoever has the most amount of points after this series will get a wild card into Indian Wells. It is huge. So they're going to be fighting for this for the next 7 weeks. Well done. But right now, Megan McRae is in the lead. Coming up in just moments, 3 seed Colin Sinclair. Been battling it out all week long, round by round, grinding. Versus Jamie Floyd Angelet from France. Yesterday he beat Keegan, the 2 6'5", 6'8", battled to Fort 6'4" in the third. They're coming up next. Nico Boer to court 1. Kian, please. We need some muscle, Kian. Come on, baby. right, welcome everybody. Couple introductions here. Right to the chair on the south side. Being hosted by these. Big warm-up. Big Willie was a warm-up this morning. Colin Sinclair. Colin has been had some tough battles early, had some easy battles in the middle. Fresh as a daisy. Colin Sinclair. To the left of the chair. It's servant bombs all tournament long, serving and bowling. From France, Jamie Floyd, Angele. This is the 3 seed versus the 4 seed.
3 minutes.
Our Sunday final in Rancho Santa Fe at this 15K USTA Pro Circuit SoCal Series event. Colin Sinclair, the 3 seed, is taking on the 4 seed Jamie Floyd Angele. For Alex Gruskin, I'm Brian Fenley. We'll have the commentary for you on Cracked Rackets. And first time these teams, or these two, have ever played, Alex. And in the prior match, we're doing the girls' final, the women's final. You were mentioning how Angela really had to work to beat Keegan Smith in the semifinals, and that has to be a morale-boosting win for the Frenchman.
I mean, look, it's Championship Sunday. I have plenty of serious commentary and analysis to offer, but first and foremost, can we just look at those Angele legs? I mean, oh my God. Like, talk about being 6'9" and then looking 6'9". That man looks like he's 6'9". And yeah, look, he took on a fellow big man, 6'7", Keegan Smith in the semifinals. It was a 3-set win for Angele. He moves well. Like, he is a fluid athlete. He's a guy who can scoot around the court. Does a great job taking his returns early. Now, I think his forehand swing's a little bit bigger. I'm sure Sinclair watched a little film. He'll be prepared for that. But, I mean, look, when you can fire off 130 bombs at ease like Angele can, you're in every match that you play. And I do think for the 23-year-old, as he continues to grow into his body, he's got the weapons. I do think the results will start to come.
That
Even the
semifinal,
underhand serve.
even the underhand serve, so that could be maybe something we see. But yes, Keegan Smith was a win against him, the former UCLA Bruin, in 3 sets. And on the other side, Colin Sinclair, 439 in the world. He is 20-14 win-loss record this year, 11-7 on hard courts. Went the college route, 28 years old. Did Sinclair, was supposed to go to Dartmouth, and somebody took his spot there, and ended up with Cornell ultimately, so stayed in the Ivy League, and now is trying to make his way up the rankings here.
It may sound silly, but my biggest takeaway from Colin Sinclair and his semifinal victory yesterday over Noah Schachter, he's really good. Like, just across the board. Every skill, every shot you're looking for, he's got it. Now, again, the biggest weapon in this match, it's the Angele serve. There's no doubt about it. But any different tactical way you can think of hurting the big man, Sinclair has that option available to him. How he responds to the 4th-seeded Frenchman's pace, that's obviously the question entering this match. But he's got the skill set to make this one competitive. I think we're in for a fun final.
Sinclair has won 2 singles titles on the ITF Futures Tour, has a couple of titles at the challenger level as well, and has won 7 titles futures in doubles. So he has been in quite a few championship matches over the course of his career. Angele, 16-9. Of the 26 matches, Alex, that Angele has played this year, 25 of them have been on hard courts. What does that do for his psyche?
Well, I think for Angele. The quicker the surface, the better he'll play. Now, I will say again, these are grittier, high-bouncing courts. I think that's good for his serve as well. The kick he can generate. It'll be interesting. It really will, to see how he responds. You know, again, what he will do in his return games. Yesterday against Smith, he was willing to take a few steps back just to get a cleaner rip on the ball. We'll see if that's what his opening tactic, you know, the different positioning he throws at Sinclair throughout this match.
There's Sinclair at the line first. And how hard it is to get it past the 6'9" Angele with the length that he brings, the wingspan, and just holding dominion at the net there as he easily puts that ball away in the forecourt. Good first serve, rocketed to the backhand. A service winner for Sinclair. Longest match that he had to deal with was in the second round. Back-to-back service winners. That second round win was against Gianni Ross. And it went 2 hours and 31 minutes against the world number 946. He is really hitting his corners there on that outside part of the service box on the ad side. Explosive backhand, launching himself into that ball in the court. The only points that Angele has won in this game have been off Sinclair's second serves. He's getting some big in-the-court rips, backhand, and now forehand inside in, squandering 2 game points here, Sinclair. And Alex, we're headed to a deuce.
This is where Sinclair just has to be careful. Smith, same deal yesterday, went down an early break of serve and just never got it back in the deciding set. See Sinclair, nice response with the ace wide.
He's done
especially,
such...
well, I was going to say, sorry, especially serving first in this opening set. You never want to have to be chasing the big man on serve from the start.
That's a great point. A misfire on the running forehand from Angele, and on a third try to win the game on the serve, Sinclair does it through deuce in a 3-minute opening game.
Yeah, look, for Jamie Floyd Angele, he's a guy who won a SoCal Pro Series event last year. I believe that event came in Lakewood early on in the series, but look, hasn't reached a final here in 2023. It's been a slower start to his season, currently sitting at 520 in the world, 23 years old. I mean, now we're going to get to see the service game, and this is where you get to see the real weapons, but this is a massive 7-week opportunity for a guy at 520 in the world. You put together a couple of quarterfinal, semifinal appearances. Now you're top 400. Now you can go play some challengers. It's a massive moment, a massive opportunity for both of these guys who are in a similar ranking range. Just consolidating that spot.
And I take it, Alex, you're not surprised at all at how conservative Sinclair is playing with his return position where we can't see him, just knowing he's got to play towards the back fence.
Yeah, I don't know how often we'll see him on this near side. Get your at least in his return games. Get your looks while you
Yeah.
can. He's
Yeah,
the guy in the
exactly.
black shirt. It's not a random fan. That's Colin
Yeah.
Sinclair returning to the court.
Yes.
First serve.
Oh, how did he miss that? It was set up perfectly for him. Just a little tentative in the transition game. It's amazing how well Angela moves.
And uses his length so well.
30-15.
It's nice to be 6'9". You close the net hard enough, they're not going to be able to get a ball by you.
It's like one stride
Yeah.
coming off the second serve and the volley, or moving forward serve and volley, and you're already at the net. Really hard hit second serve there, Alex. It missed on the double fault.
That's game one. Get that shoulder loose. So good from Colin Sinclair. Now he's got a break point chance. It's a nice response.
Sinclair broke 4 times in the semifinal, was broken only once. Back-to-back matches, he's broke 4 times.
How you erase a break point.
You think we'll continue to see that serve and volley from Angela?
Absolutely. It's just he creates so much space for himself. And if Sinclair's going to stand that far behind the baseline, it's 3 steps forward.
Yeah.
And now Angele's just on top of the net. I do think, especially with this return positioning, that's just the play.
It's hard to notice a difference between his first and the second serve by the torque and the velocity he gets behind it.
And that's the highest compliment you could offer a big man, is when they're so confident in their serve, they'll hit the same one twice, saying, I'm not going to miss it 2 times. In this instance, he does.
And that's the second double fault, and both have been on the ad side. Takes us to a second deuce, back to back. Games we've had deuce. I was just going to say back-to-back games we've had deuce.
Yeah, you play the math, though, right? Like, sure, he mixes in 2 double faults, but he's had at least 2 unreturned serves. It's the risk you take when you're an Angele. That's what we're going to see throughout this match. But look at that return positioning. That was different. Took that one inside the baseline. It's game number 1. Try out all the looks.
I guess that second serve just clipped the outside of the service box there.
I was going to say that return, or that linesman was making the call for the return. Definitely clipped on the serve. Yeah, it is the opening hold. 4-1 all. Remind me, I got a question for you on the changeover.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to hold it till that. That's what we call a tease in this business, folks. But I got a good question for you on the changeover as we see Sinclair step to the line. It's a new mindset. Your defensive and the return game's got to maintain his aggression here on serve.
There's the aggression right out of the gates.
And look,
the service winner.
It's no fun to play a big man. You're not going to get any rhythm. He's going to be blasting winners.
He tried to blast a winner right there, missed it by a pretty sizable margin, trying to take that backhand early.
Yeah, he wins the point, but, you know, again, I guess it's a final, so he'll take a win however he can get it. But you want to get physical. You want to sweat a little bit. This match is going to be a lot of stopping and starting. Sinclair doing well to just put first serves in play. Ask the right questions.
Three backhand errors in this game. One there for Sinclair, 2 off the racket of Angele. You tack on that service winner Sinclair had, and he still has chances to hold. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
The absorption. Yes. But Sinclair, by all accounts, looks pretty tall himself, but in relation to his opponent, there is quite the disparity. 6'2" for Sinclair, 6'9" for Angele.
Yeah, Colin Sinclair's not short. Let the record show.
Just loading up with those forehands and doing whatever he wants with them is Angele. Every single one of our games so far has gone to deuce. Wide that backhand goes, ends a streak of 3 straight points won by Angele, having made this Herculean return back into this game after giving up the first 3 points.
That's the pressure you feel just with Angelé's presence, right? He's going to be on top of any second serve you throw on him, no matter what.
First double for Sinclair. Angelé has 2.
It's the opposite of our women's final. We had 6-love, 6-1 opening sets. Here we get deuce, deuce, deuce.
Sneaks it by and stops the net charging Angelé. How did he find that window?
I said it at the start. Colin Sinclair's just really good. I know that sounds simple, but it is. There's not a lot of holes in his game. 28 years old, I believe. Just clipped the line. The guy who's played a lot of challenger level events over the past year, qualifying here, first rounds there. It's a massive opportunity for Sinclair these next 7 weeks to really get some match play and try to pad his numbers and make a big push towards U.S. Open qualifying this summer. It's a good start for Sinclair, up 2-1. All right, you ready for my question?
Let's hear your question.
Watching Angelé spike serves the way he does.
Okay.
You're a tennis player, correct?
Yeah, and I've played on these courts that they're playing on here in Rancho Santa Fe before.
Which I want to ask you about, as you alluded to earlier. That's what we call the alley-oop, the setup in this sport. And speaking of that, again, the big man, it just has you thinking. You can have Angelé serve, or you can dunk a basketball for the rest of your life. Which do you pick and why?
So, you're taller than me, Alex. I'm 5'11".
Okay.
And you're not going to believe this, but when I was in college, I could dunk a tennis ball on a 10-foot hoop. And you're saying to yourself, how is that possible? I used to spend a lot of time in the rec center working on my vertical leap.
I like that.
I'm going with the dunk. As much as I love the tennis and as much as I appreciate the firepower that Angelé brings, I'm going with the thrill of throwing one down.
So 2 reactions off of that. One, you strike me as a guy who has good vertical. Just for whatever it's worth.
Back in my heyday, I mean, I want to go back to doing that. And apparently, maybe calf raises is something really good for vertical. And which you talk about tennis players, you have to have big calves. That's a really important part of the game.
Yeah, part 2 is that was the right answer. If you can dunk, like, come on.
Yeah.
The idea of me dunking. I've hit a good kick serve. It's fun, but it's learnable. Can't learn to dunk. You either got it or you don't.
There's an extra level of athleticism that goes into dunking. That's hard to summon.
I once accidentally smacked the backboard on a layup, and I was shocked with myself. I was like, dude, well done. Ad side's giving him troubles.
Yeah, every single one of now that's his 3rd double fault. All have come on that side. Why do you think that is?
He looked up at the sun. He's just kind of hitting down on it. He's not extending out right now. No, something's off.
It's unraveling here for Angelé, who is in trouble here with his serve on shaky ground.
Whew. Yeah, it's going to work on every level.
when he could take that mid-court forehand and then spread it to the corner like that with such pace, there's really not much anybody can do. It doesn't matter what level you are playing at as an opponent.
Second serve. Out. 30-40.
Here's the other thing. We haven't seen the serve and volley play from Angela all too often here. And maybe that is, what do you think, part of his frustration in not getting in as many first serves? And just as I say it, he does it, but then misses with a little forehand in the court. Saved 2 break points, but a third was too much to handle. And in game 4, Sinclair breaks at 30.
There's no rhythm right now for Angela on that serve. You can tell he's searching. It's seeping into the other parts of his game. He's just impatient with himself right now. It feels a little angsty here early, and maybe that's finals jitters, but it's definitely something.
Just not even giving Angela decent looks at returning right now either. So it's what can you get back, and how can that help with your confidence? Demoralizing, yeah.
No, you used the term in our women's singles final, one-way traffic. That's what it looks like right now.
Yeah.
Whew, holds that love.
First time we've had that feat accomplished between either one of these players. Rips in what would be a second ace, and the first one on the ad side for Sinclair. Really nice showing for him.
Yeah, look, 4-1 lead. First set again, Colin Sinclair, the 28-year-old, 439 in the world. He's played a lot of challenger-level matches here over the past 6 months. Earlier, he reached 409 earlier this April. That's on the back of, again, reaching main draws at challengers in Manama, winning a match there. Savannah, he gets through qualifying. Tallahassee, same deal. Reached a quarterfinal, actually, I believe, in Asia at the end of last season at the challenger level. The level I've seen from him, not to discern, you know, again, it's tough to discern the consistency, the weapons. Everyone's got them at the pro level, but it's the consistency and the lack of holes in his game. When I watch Colin Sinclair play, and you've called more challengers than I have, Brian, I see challenger level stuff. I just see a guy without a ton of weaknesses, who goes about his business very professionally. Like, it just feels like he could go on a serious run here this summer and position himself well for those challengers come the summer and fall.
One of the things, Alex, I want to ask you is what's stopping him, from doing that as we get Angela serving behind 1-4.
Yeah, the ace wide. I would say it goes both ways. He's really good at everything. I don't know if he's great at anything. I don't know if there's one thing that's just going to win him points match after match, time after time to make his life easy. And that's what you need at the highest level because everyone's good. Everyone's fit. Everyone can hit a forehand, a backhand. What do you do at an elite level? Like that return of serve is pretty darn elite. Take that ball on the short hop. If he does that consistently throughout the match, again, gets back to my point. That's challenger level, top 400 stuff. And I do like he has given up on the I'm not doing back fence anymore. And that's not for him.
Yeah. Well, considering that Angela is only making 40% of his first serves, you're willing to take those chances, I would think.
Sure. And those hands are so quick. It's worth noting Colin Sinclair, not just the success he's had in singles, but he's won a couple of challenger titles in doubles, 16 doubles finals in his career, 9 different doubles titles. He's been ranked as high as 200 in the world in doubles. That was earlier this year as well. That land good? It did not.
It did not. From my eyesight, in my view.
Colin Sinclair's looking at it. Yeah, he brushed a little mark. No, it did. They called good.
Oh, they did call it good. Okay, well, that's a crucial point to tilt the game in Angele's favor. That ball sails long on the dead run, stretched off the court. I thought that serve, and again, I thought that serve was just a little bit long, but I could totally be wrong on that assessment.
Look, it's a 140-mile-per-hour missile coming in. I agree. It's tough to tell.
Yeah.
Sinclair's like, all I got to do is hold serve this set. He got his break. Now comes the real challenge, and he's done so well with it. 4-2 lead here in the first.
Follow suit with an ace right up the middle. That is number 5 for Sinclair.
And I got to say, I like the double black wristband look. I'm kind of in. I'll never forget, Brian. I was talking with Ohio State men's tennis head coach Ty Tucker, and he gave me this take talking about how people, more broadly as sports fans, don't respect how athletic these pro tennis players are. And he gave me a whole argument on how it's because of the clothes they wear. Everything's got to be a size tighter. Everything's got to be more accentuated. Sinclair looks like an athlete out there. I'll give him that. No doubt. As does Floyd Angele, and that forehand leaves no doubt about that.
I'm wondering if the wristbands, double wristbands, is that like the golf equivalent of playing with 2 golf gloves?
No, that's the sign of a man who sweats a lot. I know the feeling. That's just like I can't be changing grips every changeover. I got a double wristband.
Sure. He's finding that forehand really nicely.
Yeah, there's just some purpose now. A clear focus for Angele. When he has the opportunity to catch that forehand on the rise, that's what he wants to do. Even if he makes a few errors on that wing, I like that game plan moving forward.
Forehand approach right to the backhand and stops Angele on a return.
Ball you want to put in play. nothing else. Easier for us to say, obviously, here commentating than it is playing. Safe target from Sinclair. Game point chance for 5-2.
Only break a serve was at 1-2.
Well, by the
for
way,
Angela.
that sun is clearly bothering both guys. You saw Sinclair toss that ball up there prior to the serve. It's out. It's shining. It's 5-2 lead for the third seed, Colin Sinclair. Now I get to flip things on you, Brian. You mentioned it on our last changeover. You've played here at Rancho Santa Fe.
Sure.
You know the clubs. You know the conditions. What are the guys dealing with today?
It can get hot on that court. Now, we have, relatively speaking, in Southern California this summer, it's been pretty mild as far as our temperatures. But I will say that this is a court that seems to really absorb the heat of the sun. And as you pointed out, there's not a whole lot of, like, if the sun is high up in the sky, it's going to impact these players on either side. So there is that component as well. It's a setup where you actually, you can't see them from our vantage point here, but they do have clay courts. And then if you go beyond the back fence here that we're looking at straight away, the Rancho Santa Fe golf course is actually adjacent to the tennis club. So sometimes on some of the outer courts, if you're hitting balls, somebody might hit a golf ball into the court. You just never know. So there's that component as well. Not saying that we're going to see golf balls hit this bad on a court like this on center court, but it's a great setup. And as you know, I mean, there have been some great players that have come through Rancho Santa Fe, Coco Vandeweghe and Taylor Fritz. I actually was in elementary school with Coco Vandeweghe's brother, Bo. We played like on the same 6th grade basketball team together. So there's a lot of history tennis-wise here.
Could Bo dunk?
You know, he was tall. I will admit, I think his sister is much more athletic than he is. So read through the lines on that one.
I'll take it. Is Angela just looking to ask the question? For what it's worth, he's had looks in multiple Sinclair service games. Forced deuce a couple of times, had a few break point chances. I don't think he's played a bad first set. I think he played one really bad game.
Yeah, and that bad game would have been game 4. Broken at 30.
30-15.
And that was a game, Alex, where he fell behind love 40, saved 2 break chances, but then a third one was the one for Sinclair. He'll be untouchable if he can continue with that trend of hot serving.
That is nice. Gorgeous volley from Angela. He holds for 3-5. Sinclair, though, will serve for the opening set. Looking for anything here from Angela from a return positioning, Brian?
I would love to see him stay aggressive and not think he has to hit a winner off the first ball, but try to rush Sinclair if you can. One of the things that's really hurt him in this match has been the 5 double faults. Angela only 1 for Sinclair. And that's what I like. I like the idea of coming in like that and hitting it hard.
Absolutely. I had a coach say, good miss, that's not a thing anymore. Acceptable miss. That was an acceptable miss. I told that coach right away I'd be stealing that. I was like, would you like me to cite you by name? And that coach is like, nah, I'm good. As long as people know it wasn't yours.
Yeah, and it does seem that I don't know. I'd love to get your take on this, but Angela looks to be more comfortable going forward than Sinclair.
He's good at it. Yeah, man, this sun is bothering them.
Yeah.
It's about to be 2 p.m. Pacific, peak of heat as well.
Looks like Angela wanted a word of encouragement from his team. Looked to take a glance over to the sideline. Got beat with the tee serve.
40-15.
1 point from a 1-set lead for the 3 seed. And is there better serving than that? Just incredible stuff. Keeping Angela guessing and Sinclair with the effervescent, effortless finish with the volley to wrap up the opener, 6-3.
The 28-year-old's first final since October of last year. He hasn't won a title since November of 2021, 11th final of his career. Look, Sinclair's in a spot right now in his career. I mentioned the ranking earlier coming into the week. Colin Sinclair sitting at 439 now. By making the final, he's already up to 406. One more win, he'll be up to number 391. That'd be a career high for Sinclair. He's already at a career high in the live rankings after this week, but there is a discernible difference between top 400 and outside that 400 cut line in terms of getting into ATP Challengers, which again are the next step in the progression as you try to build your ranking up on the ATP Tour. And that's why this USTA SoCal Pro Series is so valuable. It's both valuable and invaluable. That's how I would describe it, Brian, because again, to have these playing opportunities for so many of these rising players, to have the opportunities to build so many points over such a immediate stretch of time. Colin Sinclair can go into August where there's a bunch of challenger level events, a bunch of North American hardcourt tennis. If he has a good SoCal Pro Series, he could be top 350, top 300 in the world. A set away from a third career pro title here in Rancho Santa Fe. And if he could get an opening break, hasty.
Got his forehand, Sinclair, in the firefight early on. How about this? You talk about what Sinclair needs to do to get into the top 400. Dropped 1 point on his second serve in the opening set. 11 of 12. That is a really nice ratio.
Yeah, I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 12 minus 11 is 1. So yeah, he dropped 1 point. That's ridiculous. How's that math? That checks out?
It does.
Okay.
I failed pre-calculus, but I'm pretty sure that level is not pre-calculus level, although I could be mistaken.
What got you? The cosines? The tangents?
All of that stuff.
It's all right. We're talkers.
Yeah.
Angelé's a server.
15-30.
Such a big part of his game. If it's not at the level that he wants, how does he adapt or fill in the gaps? That's an interesting thing. If he can't get the first serve in, he's only gotten it in about 50% of the time.
He just has to play so aggressively.
He dropped 5 second serve points in the opening set.
How many of those were double faults? 3, 4?
5, actually.
All 5 of them.
All 5 of them. Yeah. Now that you brought it up.
Well, double fault sets up another break. Excuse me. Sorry. 2 break point chances here. Yeah, that's been the issue. When he gets the serve in, great, but just too many. I mean, I say too many freebies. It's 1 break of serve. And he gave away, what, 2 double faults, I believe, in that game? You can't do that.
Can't do that. Getting in his way has been the story for Angele so far.
No, that's just cheeky.
What a difference when you get that first serve in. You're able to do whatever you want with the ball.
It was a great return, too.
If you're Angele, Alex, I would think that he's thinking, well, where has this been? This would be huge if he could manage a hold. Considering the dire circumstances that befell him earlier in the game.
You just cannot find an ad serve today.
Deuce.
2 double faults on that side in this game.
And in his first service game of the opening set, he had 2 double faults, and both were on the ad side there. So keeping with that trend.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird sunshine, right? It is bright right now on this court.
And I'll tell you, it is deceptively hot.
Yeah.
You might look at the temperature and say, oh, it's only 75. But it does not feel that a lot more if you're playing on that surface. It insulates the heat.
See, I want to dunk, but I also want to do that just once.
Yeah? Well, and you haven't before? Of course you have.
I mean, I've hit a slice wide, but not like that. Another one.
And he puts his hands to his head in a visual sign of frustration. I also saw head shaking earlier. Clearly, mentally, it's affecting him.
Yeah, and look, this game would be a nice break for Sinclair. Certainly would give him momentum. It's now a must-hold for Angele. Must-hold. No way. No way.
That is absurd.
I said he looked athletic. I wasn't lying. The wheels. And now, honest to God, might we see something underhand? No way. 4.
Game Sinclair.
4 double faults from 23-year-old Jamie Floyd Angele. All of them on the ad side of the court in his opening service game of the second set. They hand a break to 28-year-old Colin Sinclair, who, guess what, Brian? He can see the finish line now.
Oh, yeah. And 4 in this game, 5 against Angele in the opening set. And now 9 points dropped on his second serve in this match. And all of them, Alex, have been by way of the double.
Can't give that many freebies. And look, big picture, it's 2 breaks of serve. That's the only difference in this match. But 9 double faults is 2 breaks worth of free points. You can't do that. That's the difference. That's the match. Math.
Which is something that you're much better at than I am. But even Angelay's first service game in the opening set, and we mentioned that he had those 2 doubles through deuce, did hold, but had to save a break chance. So he, in the initial service games of both the first and second sets, has had break points to deal with.
Huh.
First serve.
Oh, okay, good. That's what there's a clear let there. I think Floyd Angelay thought that wasn't being called at first. I like the fire he's playing with right now. There's a little edge in his body language.
Love 30.
Colin Sinclair here, first serves.
Seemed as if that point was going Sinclair's way. Just the way he was able to disarm Angelay with a pretty weak return.
Yeah, I mentioned he can see the finish line now. At the same time, patience. That's the key. Point by point, execute first serve, first ball to the open court. And then backhand pass down the line as well.
Slippery good. And considering the wingspan that Angelay has, there's not a big target to try to beat him down the line.
It's great coverage from Angelay there.
Yeah.
To force that additional end to the exchange. Guy moves well for a big man. I mean, come on now.
I thought that Angelay was going to get himself in trouble because that little slice dropper sort of held up in the air a little bit. And Sinclair I thought that he could have done more with that return, but got a lob over him and just was all over it.
His first step forward, he was on that drop shot.
Yeah. Kind of sat up in the air, kind of like a little sitter too, but prevailing in that point is Angelay, and he has a chance to win this game on the return. But he's having to play well back, and that's not his game.
Love that from Sinclair. That's the patience. Didn't get it on the last one. Hit a good first serve. Hit a good first forehand. It was great movement from Angelay. Stuck to the course. The right miss.
This is that transition forehand.
But it was the right ball to move in on.
Yeah. Can Sinclair escape with a hold and sidestep The breakpoint minded Angele.
Now
He'll take that.
block. Yeah. Yeah, he will. I still think if I'm Sinclair here, when I'm trying to serve to location-wise into the body, or I go more towards that flatter forehand side, I think that's the side that'll give the freebie. We'll see if Sinclair agrees. He does not. That's why he's there, I'm here.
Deuce.
$50 into this match. That first set took about 36 minutes.
Advantage Angel.
Couple of net cord clips.
Yeah. The former Cornell standout has not been broken in this match. Has saved one break point in this game already. Not going to be able to save a second one.
Second set.
A little pep in Angele's step as he wrangles that game away from Sinclair, the server.
Well done. You could see it in the body language as soon as he was out of the chair after that first game. Angele has not played a bad match. He's played 2 bad games. That ad side serve just, it's betrayed him. You mentioned it, 9 double faults so far today. But now he gets the break back. It's a little bit of a reset here in our men's singles final.
Second serve.
Ten.
Love 15.
Into double digits.
And not in the fun way.
Not in the fun way. At some point, he has to find that form with his serve if he wants to win this title. That'll help. I looked as
I
if
thought he missed that one. I was like, I couldn't tell if that was a sign of joy or a sign of just, despair.
Yeah. Because he looked up into the sky.
Yeah.
And that was, oh, go for it.
This is where if you're Colin Sinclair, that lack of rhythm I was discussing earlier, I mean, yes, he's up 6-3, 1-all. He's hit maybe 30 forehands, like 30 backhands in an hour of play.
Did he get that?
Yeah, 2 of his backhands have been ridiculous down the line passes.
That is disrespectful in the most beautiful of ways. Or Sinclair.
Just as expected, 3 break point chances in the opening 3 games.
Yeah.
Game, Sinclair.
That's the shot that he's been able to club and hit well. And a few of these transition forehands have been misses. As you would say, Alex, acceptable misses. But what isn't acceptable, you would think, for Angele is that he's lost both of his service games in the second set.
No, we're in Rancho Santa Fe. He was ready to send a ball to San Francisco. He was furious after missing that forehand. I mean, you're right. Like, he just... Finally, you get the break of serve. Finally, things are starting to go your way. That's a deflating break back. And credit to Sinclair, who just, he's in every game. And if you watched yesterday's semifinal for Sinclair, you saw he got to 30 all, 15-40, 30-40.
Yeah, he did on multiple times.
Every service game but one of Schachter's, excuse me. And so, yeah, it was just, I like to pause for dramatic, or I mute myself when I'm sneezing. One of the two, you'll never know. Yeah, it's just that relentlessness from Colin Sinclair. I said it earlier, the word that comes to mind is professional. Like, every point, it's the same rhythm, it's the same cadence. Those 2 words mean the same thing, which emphasize my point. He plays at his own speed, and that's why I just think moving forward, there will be continued results to come for Sinclair this summer.
He just has that even, as you said, that even keel, cool temperament. Although he hasn't had much to be frustrated about. Only broken once in his last service game.
Now here's the key. Look at the body language for Angele. That's not what we saw out of the last changeover. He was bouncing on his toes. He looked determined. And I know that's an artificial measurement or an arbitrary observation. But you don't disagree, do you?
No, there's just this a slight dejected, subdued vibe that he's giving off, and that he's still thinking about what went awry when there's nothing that he can do about it now. And that's impacting his play in the present.
And you just wonder, is he thinking about the serve? How could he not be? That's been the shot that's betrayed him. Because he's hitting his ground strokes great. The problem is anytime he gets a hint of momentum, 2 double faults. Weird match. Weird championship Sunday, Brian.
We embrace the weird, though.
Yeah, in the best way.
Weird works.
Yeah. Yes. It's a prerequisite here at Cracker
Yes.
Racket.
Yes.
That's nothing weird about that. That's textbook from Colin Sinclair. Game point chances now to consolidate.
Big rocketed forehand with the +1.
I like his technique too. Like, this gets back to my really good theory. He's just really good.
Game, Sinclair.
I think Angele conceded. Angele's furious with a couple of calls.
Well, it looked as if Sinclair was ready to hit a second serve, but
Yeah, I think it was even called out, and Angele conceded it.
interesting.
I don't like that from a
So
body.
what's the point of doing that? You take away even more
Classy.
chances.
It's classy but conciliatory.
Well,
the worst thing that could happen would be an opening double fault here.
Second.
Oh, he got lucky.
Huh. He might have broken his racket. I would have.
You would have had a cracked racket.
Oh. 3. First 2 out of the bag destroyed as well. Honestly, I've never cracked a racket in my life. True story.
It's because you've never lost a match in your life.
Not true. It's because I'm way too afraid of my parents. It's gonna, even now, I just feel like I'm sorry. I just would feel like, are you serious?
Oh.
Yeah, it's.
Love 30.
It's
I don't wanna
all
say-
unraveling.
I don't want to say pack the bags and start the plane, but it does start to feel like when, not if, for Colin Sinclair.
An hour in, and Sinclair has won 9 of 13 games.
Beautiful. And the thing that stood out for Sinclair, how quick are his hands on the return of serve? They're just out in front. He says, thank you for the pace. This ball's going low and deep. Oh, that's unreturnable. That's what he's wanted to do all day. And I'll tell you what, if the serve catches fire, he's playing well enough elsewhere. I
Had
don't
missed
care
it.
who you are. That's beating anyone.
Yeah, he's very consistent from the back. Had a couple of misfires with his approaches recently, but there was an approach where he tattooed it and has a game point.
Yeah, when he can hit down on that forehand, he's so dangerous.
Yeah, that offensive generating, hitting downward on the ball, and we go to deuce again. All but one game in the second set has gone to a deuce. I remember that we talk about, Alex, pivotal moments in this match. There was the one where Sinclair held through 2 deuces and needed a 5th game point in the 3rd game of the opener. Could have easily gone the other way, and if it did, we might be looking at a completely different match.
Oh my God, that backhand pass has been so good today.
Deuce.
Passing with precision.
All right, what can Colin Sinclair do to get a deuce side look? Cheats in a little more closely to the baseline, but then he does that. That serve is unreturnable.
And that's the second out wide ace in this game.
Yeah.
One on either side.
It's the angle you only get at 6'9".
Yes.
Oh. Ridiculous.
Running into the fence, the stanchion over there.
Sinclair.
It's hard to hit anything by Sinclair. But if that point didn't turn out Angele's way, I would have questioned how much more he would have wanted to move forward, or just the threat of losing points in the forecourt, getting, as you said, passed all the time, had to be looming on his head. But he does come out on top and does get the hold.
No, if Colin Sinclair hits that backhand passing shot good, I'm going to the net, shaking hands, and saying you're winning. I got nothing left for you. That volley was that good from Angele. And again, one break is not two. 3-2 is not 4-1. Angele has had looks in Sinclair service games. He has not played poorly today. He has served poorly. Now, obviously, for a 6'9" guy, the serve is essential to success in his game. But I'm not writing him off, the 23-year-old Frenchman, quite yet. Of course, earlier today, Megan McRae, first title of her career, the 27-year-old three-set winner over Fangran Tien. God, did she play with brilliant aggression, Brian.
Yeah, she did. You can see, just even though she's 8-9 years older, that she might be due for a summer surge.
Yeah. 6 wins to win the title. 5 wins. 4 of them come in 3 sets for McRae. Guts.
And 3 of those 5 were against Americans.
15 love.
The decision. I was going to say, what did you think about his decision? Was he too aggressive there?
No, proactivity. He is active with his feet right now, Jamie Floyd Angele. He's seeing that ball early. He's getting to the ball early. He's timing it well. I have no problem with that miss, as frustrating as it may be. What more can you ask for?
Yeah.
Great return of serve. You saw the split step. Now, it just feels like his footwork. What's the word I'm looking for? It starts with an A.
In what?
It feels a little bit. I mean, it's just so accentuated. That's not what I'm looking. But because he's so big, you see those big feet lumbering, right?
30-15.
Yeah.
So you feel it more, perhaps, here as a viewer. Credit to Sinclair, though. He's getting the big man on the move.
Sinclair has given up just 2 points combined over his last 2 service games, including this one.
Nope, missed it.
40-15.
4 of the now 6 games in this second set, we've had at least 1 break point. 3 breaks in games 1, 2, and 3. Game 5, there was the saved break point.
James Sinclair. Sinclair leads 4
Really well done.
Second set.
And that's how you get it done.
Yeah.
Should read, there we go, 4-2 Sinclair.
Love 15.
Hiccup with that backhand. Tags it long on the cross court. Did get a first serve in.
Love 30.
History repeating itself with another double fault into double digits in that category for Angela.
Love 40.
That one is long as well.
Yeah, this is a de facto match point, isn't it? 3 of
And,
them.
yeah.
First serve.
Serves half speed now.
Yeah, you remember early, second serve was coming in as hot as the first.
Yeah.
Game.
It's fitting, isn't it? Double fault from Angela. 5-2 Colin Sinclair will serve for the third singles title of his career, Brian.
If you were to break down and analyze this game, Alex, so much of it is self-inflicted. But if we were to say that the headline of this, and assuming that Sinclair is able to serve out in this next game and he wins, beyond the obvious headline of double faults, say doom Angela, what does that not tell us about what Sinclair did right and that he did on his end to help him win?
It's an excellent question. What Colin Sinclair did is not go away. Every point was treated with the same discipline. It was the same split step. It was the same preparation for the +1 forehand, the same purpose. There was never any, oh, okay, I got a little lead here. I'm going to try something outside of my body. I'm going to go, again, for a heat check sort of moment, try to slap a winner here or there. Sinclair never did that. And right away, he realized, hey, a deep return positioning, that's not going to work. I got to put some pressure on Angela, and certainly the double fault's perhaps a little bit of a byproduct of that pressure, as much as it is, to your point, the self-inflicted wounds from the big Frenchman. But, yeah, the biggest takeaway I have for Sinclair is just, again, the discipline point to point.
Yeah, I mean, that not be forgotten considering that the double faults have been very problematic.
That is a slap.
It's a signal that mentally, not to say that this match is over, right?
I'll say it. You don't have
you
to.
said it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but giving off that impression for sure.
30 love.
Forehand air. Ace on the ad side, 2 points away from the trophy.
40 love.
And now 1.
Thank you, Bobo.
Was broken in the second game of this second set and then broke right back, did Sinclair.
First serve. Game. Set and match Sinclair.
A championship for Colin Sinclair. 6-3, 6-2 here in Rancho Santa Fe, taking down the 4 seed, Jamie Floyd Angela. Big serving in the end. Not so good serving from Angela. Double digits and double faults. But as you said, Alex, there was this never give up, always fighting, stay disciplined kind of mindset from Sinclair, even keeled temperament that carried him so well to the finish line.
It's his first title in about a year and a half, first since November 2021. And welcome to the top 400, Colin Sinclair, with his victory into the top 400 of the live rankings for the first time now. Whether he goes to play challengers, whether he stays here, plays a few more SoCal Pro Series events, he did exactly what he came here to do. Get some wins under his belt, walks away with the title. Again, other than Gianni Ross, that's the only set he lost all week. 1 in his 5 victories. It's a dominant performance from the 28-year-old veteran who, I mean, again, I was watching the tennis. He was title-winning good. He was challenger-level good.
For a finalist,
I'm impressed with what I've seen from Colin Sinclair. It's a perfect start to his American summer.
It really is. And this circuit is only getting started. We've got University of San Diego hosting the next event starting tomorrow, and Crack Rackets coverage all upcoming weekend.
We are excited for it. You're absolutely right. We got 6 more weeks of action all over Southern California. I know we've got San Diego, we've got LA, I know we've got an Irvine week as well. It's going to be really fun. And of course, we are thrilled to say we'll have Brian Finley with us each and every week as well. Brian, I will wrap this broadcast, but before we go, I want to ask you final thoughts on today's winners. Obviously, Sinclair here. We had Megan McRae capture her first pro title in our women's singles final. Shout out to Isabella Chhiv. She wins her first pro title in doubles with Aaron Cayetano. Same deal for Jack Anthrop alongside Bryce Nakashima. It's a great week one. Any final thoughts before we wrap today's show?
I think on the men's side, accuracy trumped aggression.
Yeah.
And that was the difference in that you had a big hitter or a bigger hitter lose because of the aggression getting in the way of the accuracy, not to take anything away again from what Colin Sinclair was able to do.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And I think it was the other story in the women's final.
Yeah.
It was aggression over accuracy, which is what makes this sport so beautiful. Is, again, there are so many different ways to win matches, to win points. We saw them all on display this weekend, and as Brian mentioned, we'll be back next Saturday, Sunday, to continue our coverage of this USTA SoCal Pro Series. Of course, before we go, a shout-out, as always, to our super producer, Daniel Westoff. He makes everything you see on our screen possible. A shout-out as well to our CEO, Dalton Thieneman, for all the work he does to make it possible for our Crack Rackets team to shine a spotlight on so many of these fantastic athletes. A thank you to Christopher Boyer, the USTA team, and of course every sponsor who makes this USTA SoCal Pro Series possible. And of course, thanks to my partner in crime, Brian Fenley. It was a very fun week one. Only going to get better from here, my friend.
Thank you, Alex. So fun. Love what you guys are doing and excited to do more with you all this summer.
Well, then, with that said, for Brian Fenley, Daniel Westoff, Dalton Thieneman, and everyone who contributes to our broadcast, I'm Alex Gruskin. You've been watching our Crack Rackets coverage of the 2023 SoCal Pro Series. We will see you all at the University of San Diego next Saturday. Thanks, everyone.